Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Zoetic, and we're back with another episode, a very special episode of the Grain of Salt Show. All right, I'm here with my boy Tony Toe Tags.
What up?
Obviously, as you guys can see, this is a very more advanced setup than we usually run. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm usually running a pretty low budget setup. You know what I'm saying? But we're here in the illustrious WTF Media Studios. We got my man
blessed.
Wolf here on the boards, man.
Yes.
My first time here in New York, here with my boy Tony Toe Tags, man, and a lot is happening. A lot is happening. I came out here to visit and do this podcast, this special podcast, man, and just being a fan, first and foremost, of podcasts in general and kind of like podcast history. Me and Tony Toe Tags was talking earlier about, Combat Jack and his contributions to just what all of this is, man. And he kind of established what we kind of know now is the way podcast formats run now, the way these checks, these companies giving out checks for these podcasts now, bro.
Right.
It's a booming
It's the thing
business,
of now.
bro.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It
booming,
is.
and I feel like this is all really like a realization of him. You know what I'm saying? He had this vision when he was, doing his thing. And rest in peace to the God, man, Combat Jack, bro.
Yeah,
I feel like none of this would be
rest in power.
possible without him. The whole Loudspeakers Network, how that started, and signing the top podcasters in the game at that point, and then, rest in peace. What happened. He's definitely celebrated all the time, and then you have Charlemagne stepping in, man, with what the Black Effect is doing. It's like
Right.
just signing the top podcasters in the game, bro, and really showing what not just hip hop but black media has to offer to this fucking game.
Right.
It's beautiful to see, man. I love to see it. And then of course you got Wheezy and Alex, man. They hold shit down, bro, on their flagship podcast, and they have this beautiful business that's going on here, man. I mean, you got Rory and Maul recording here. You got fucking Wayno and Kaz and fucking Horrible Decisions, of course. You got some brilliant
It's big
idiots
time,
in
man.
there,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely, man. It's big
So
time.
just being here is special for me.
It's a blessing.
You know what I'm saying?
It
As
really
a
is
fan,
special.
as just a sort of podcaster, I guess you want to call. I wouldn't consider myself a full-on podcaster, but I do the show just because I love podcasts. and
Yeah, you love
I
it,
to
man.
talk about this.
You love
shit,
it.
man,
You
so.
appreciate it, and you have something to offer. Everybody's got something to offer, man, and you have tremendous insight anytime that you bless us. With the new podcast, Grain of Salt Show. I mean, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's hard when you're doing all this shit by yourself too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It feels thankless, but it all pays off in the end, man. With just how you feeling with it. And
I work behind the scenes, man. Right? We was
Yeah.
talking about that earlier as well too.
Absolutely.
You got to be in the trenches before you get to glory.
Absolutely.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah,
And
gotta
so-
struggle first to get there and figure
Yeah.
shit out, man. I feel like that's kind of the story of all of us in this game, trying to make it in this game, bro. Like, that's what we're trying to do here, So,
Right.
With that being said, man, I feel like it's just real special being here. I just wanted to address that first and foremost, man,
Absolutely.
because I'm such a huge fan of podcasting, and I just have so much respect for everything that's being built right here, and to just be here is very special to me, man.
This is
So,
definitely a mecca of creation,
Word.
for the nation and for the world as well too. I mean, this is New York City. We're here. You know what I'm saying? We really
Absolutely.
doing it.
Yeah, we here. We
We were
here.
blessed with this beautiful equipment, this beautiful layout, and these beautiful people that are helping us out here. I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity and a platform, and it's something that definitely, it's an opportunity. It's a big opportunity.
Absolutely. Definitely. So that was the first thing I wanted to address, man, and just thank you. Thank you to Wolf, man, for being here. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that, man.
What
up? So moving forward, man, we've had a lot going on in these, pun intended, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Going on with us, man.
If you know, you know.
So we've definitely just, I just dropped my album, man, In Plain Sight.
Congratulations as well.
R&B
too,
album.
man.
Thank
Absolutely,
you. Thank you. I
absolutely.
appreciate it, man. I just
Been
put
a busy man this
I've
year,
been putting
Very,
in work,
very busy man.
I've been putting in work. I've been really just trying to get this shit right, man. Trying to make sure make the right moves, and like I said, when you're doing all this by yourself, you're doing this independently, DIY, paying for everything out of pocket, like it's a long journey. It's a long journey, but to get shit right and to get shit the way I think it sounds great, man. I think it sounds great. I'm really proud of it. It's been a long journey, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because more than anybody, you've been here, by my side through the whole thing, man. Just, my vocals, in particular R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't consider myself some kind of crazy R&B vocalist. Like, started off rapping, man, and just
But like anything in life, you got to put in the practice, you got to put in the reps, you got to put in the time, and that's what you've been doing, and it's something that you got into late, bro. And with that being said, In Plain Sight, which is the project, go and download that shit. That's the boy. That's my man doing his thing, And I think the growth that it has displayed in terms of your vocal ability, the ability to more effectively record, and execute on the recording level to establish, better harmonies on the backup vocal stacks. To get the mix on those right balanced. Again, the layers of ad-libs that you have as well too that lie within, and then of course the lead itself. And we discussed how many retakes it took as well too for you just to get it sounding the way that it's sounding right now. But without me getting too far sidetracked, it's just the growth from this album to Going the Wrong Way, which was your first R&B joint.
Sure.
It's tremendous, and I commend you, bro, because it's evident. All you got to do is just press play and you can hear it, and the talent. Again, we talked about this, the structure of the songs themselves throughout the songwriting ability as well that you have is crazy. It blows my mind every time. I love it, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I always appreciate your support, man, and just your help. You like I said, you've been there the whole time. Even if we haven't been living in the same place for the past couple of years, we're still always updating each other on our processes and how things are going. We might play something for each other, and it's good, man. It's good to have that, to just bounce off each other all the time, man, because it just keeps our swords sharpened. You know what I'm saying? Like it really does just keep us at our best, man. And I'm proud of this album, man. I'm proud of the work that I put in. Thank you for blessing me with a beautiful verse, man. You know what I'm saying?
It was a pleasure to be a part of it, man.
Hey, man, and you mentioned the songwriting, bro, and I just really wanted to make sure that the songwriting was done in a different way than I've done before. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the R&B shit, like I took a really simple, basic approach to it. And the previous album that you mentioned, but this time I really just tried to flush ideas out and focus on bridges and pre-hooks and things like that. Because like I've expressed to you, I don't hang my hat on the vocals, man. Like I'm really in this because I want to write songs for vocalists. You know what I'm saying? I want a dope vocalist to hear my shit and be like, oh, okay, maybe I could have did that harmony a little better, and I want you to do that shit better because I don't hang my hat on that shit. I hang my hat on this pen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm really, really trying to establish with this right here. Even though it's a very short project, it's 8 tracks, but only 6 songs, 2 interludes, you know what I'm saying? I'm just really trying to be concise with this shit,
Sure.
Because the last one was like 14 tracks. And, there was good jams on it. There was good songs on it, good takeaways from it. But I just need shit to be way more meticulous and strategic with my every moves, man. So that's why I wrote 8 songs, cut 2, and kept it at the 6, bro, and just dug, kept refining them, re-recording them, rewriting if I needed to. And it was just a process, man.
And since this, I just want to make a comment as well, too,
please.
because we had this discussion again last night. We had a chance to speak. You got into town, obviously, yesterday.
Yeah.
So we chatted it up when we were in the car coming home, and we got back to the crib, and, whatever, man. We talked, we chilled, we kicked it, we caught up, and everything. And, man, I lost my train of thought here.
We're talking about songwriting and just how I'm trying to establish my pen.
Yeah. Oh, and you talked about how you have been studying Prince tremendously. And
always.
you had, you got to dissect a song's anatomy. Each song has an anatomy.
Yep.
It's not a cut and dry, or it shouldn't be a cut and dry copy paste. Right. That it happens. It's a technique. It's a blueprint that happens a lot in this game. But with you, it's sacred. You respect the craft of what it is to be an artist.
Yeah, I do.
An artist, and display your craft in art form, and that means in this instance pushing yourself to write songs that have different formats, different structures, a pre-chorus, a bridge, a second bridge, which you do in this song as well too, an intro. So you studied and you put in the work, laboring under, okay, this is how to write different songs in different ways. As from one of the GOATs of all time, Prince, across any genre of all music.
Of course, and of course, like it goes even way deeper than Prince. You know what I mean? Like specifically on this album, Prince, Morris Day, The Time, that shit is very, very influential to me. But also other like early '80s funk acts. You know what I'm saying? Like there's Sade's not really funk, it's more smoother R&B, but that's really what inspired Too Much Too Late, the song I got with you. I got a song on there that's what really inspired it was the Earth, Wind, and Fire and Isley Brothers verses, right?
You told me this.
That was Easter Sunday. I was kicking it, watching his verses, man, and I was just like, Earth, Wind, and Fire, it's music that I've heard this music my entire life. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
is music I don't know life without. But as a fully kind of realized artist and hearing the structure and the songwriting of the songs and just how they transitioned and just
Chord
it really,
changes,
yeah,
you know,
bro.
yeah. I
And
mean,
just
key
the-
changes. I mean,
and
excuse
just
me.
the arranging, bro.
Yeah,
The arrangement is what really sparked my shit to be like, okay, I need to do something different here, you know?
Yeah, man.
So I went in and wrote the title track in plain sight, and I was really trying to get in my Philip Bailey. I hit the falsetto like in the lead, like had the extra backgrounds, a lot of high pitched stuff.
Yeah,
like
a lot of falsetto type shit. Absolutely,
and like you said, the
absolutely.
key change. I key changed on the bridge, did it twice. Like I was really trying to get into my arrangement bag. You know, like I told
Yeah.
you, this album I've put in the most work that I've ever put in on this album, man. I with the help of my boys, Danger and Icy Beats. Shout out to my boys, the
Absolutely.
other team, the other crew members of 5D, man.
The fam right there.
They produced it. You know what I'm saying? What they would do is they would give me like an 8-bar loop. I would go in, take the loop, and I would make it like a 3-minute song, and then I would cut shit, add shit. Okay, this is intro, this is a bridge, this is where, you know, and I would just,
Yeah, you build-
I would
you build
I
the
would
song.
arrange it first before I would write it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of where I would start, and then I would just take apart the structure of it and just keep doing it, keep working it until I got to the point where I was like, all right, man, this shit is done. You know, and I'm super happy with the product, man. It's fucking, you know, it's only been a day, so it's like we'll see how the rest goes. I've been doing a lot of content for the pre-rollout. You know, if anybody's been tuned into my YouTube channel, my social medias, I've been all over the place just trying to promote this because I'm taking notes from everybody, man. I'm taking notes from the Ye and Drake and the, you know, even just all the big dogs who are doing their rollouts. I'm taking notes and I'm just taking what I can do with my shit. Because obviously I don't got no budget like that, but it's like, for what I can do, the resources at my fingertips, I got to make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm at, man, within plain sight, bro. I'm really proud of it. I hope anybody watching this, please check that out if you haven't already, because it's a labor of love for me.
It's
You know
beautiful,
what I'm saying?
man. It's a beautiful offering, man, to the music world, man.
Thank you.
For
Thank
sure.
you, sir. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Well, with that being said, I wanted to go into the next topic here, man. My boy Tony Toe Tags, man, you just dropped a new project not too long ago, bro, by the name of Troy Ave.
I did.
Very inspired by your move and living up here in
Correct.
New York and changing scenery. You wrote a lot of that music here, man. Please tell me some more about Troy Ave, bro. Tell me what's up with that.
Yeah, man. Troy Ave is a little 6-track EP. As you said already earlier, the title is inspired because all those songs were wrote really in the confines of the space that I had been subleasing. So it was a little tiny room, you know, or whatever. And from where we're from, that's a big
Absolutely.
culture shock. It's a
Absolutely.
big experience. It's a big difference. I was living with 3 strangers literally from one day to the next.
That's crazy.
Subleasing, you know, in Crown Heights. In Crown Heights, fucking, you know, a couple blocks down from the Utica stop. I'd take Utica, catch the 4. You know, I'd ride that to Grand Central, go to work, come back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was on the block. You know, and so Troy Ave was very significant in my life. It was a period of time that I was the most isolated as an adult ever in my history of being here, you know?
Yeah, man, talk about quarantine too, because you got caught in the middle of all that shit right when you moved here, bro. Like,
Yeah, but it was an experience, bro. It was something that for the first time in my life, and we had these conversations because you was one of the few people that I would be talking to like, you know, because it was something that really tested me unlike anything mentally, right? And especially in this day and age where everything is like mental awareness and, you know what I'm saying? It's that was the one. I've always considered myself as, you know, a relatively mentally strong individual, you know, pretty grounded, all things considered, you know, as well. So I don't really lose my cool in any one way or another, you know, and this kind of shook me, man. I moved here end of October, literally bounced 2-day drive, got the homie Drew, which we shouted out, Dangerland, you know what I'm saying? He was with me, packed up all my shit in the U-Haul, drove 2 days, had a whole incident with the fucking sheriffs on the way, got the drug dogs put in the back of the unit. That's a whole nother thing. Fucking came out here, bro, you know?
Yeah.
And then fucking the homie stayed the night. We stayed the night, you know, and then he had to bounce the next morning. He helped me move my shit in. We fucking set up the futon because I bought I didn't have no bed or nothing like that. Bought a futon, fucking threw it there, put the homie on the futon. I slept on the hardwood floor, and that was it. Called it a night, and then he bounced the next day in the plane, and that was it. It was like that was it. I was on my own. I was fucking walking. I had nobody, you know, and so it was a significant experience with the growth of me as an individual, as a man, you know, and at the same time I was dropped into everything that I wanted. It was all that I love about hip hop, right? It was this is why I moved here. It was my vision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to get too in depth because I get long-winded and
I feel
shit
you,
like
but-
that. But being here and doing this was my dream. And I said I was gonna make it happen. I said it was gonna happen in a certain timetable, and I did it. You know, and I'm proud of myself. And it's now I'm playing catch up. You know, I'm a big believer. You got to be a student of anything for many years before you're a master.
Yeah.
You know, and if you even get to that point, but just to even be proficient. And so, you know, it was like I just studied. Everything was just game, man. I put the headphones in, and now I'm fucking seeing and understanding the references that I've been listening my entire life through the headphones.
You have context.
And it's like, I know that. Oh, that's Nostrin. What the fuck? You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Marcy. That's,
Yeah.
you know, like passing this shit and just bugging because it's beautiful to me, you know?
Yeah.
And at the same time, no distractions. You know, at that point, single man. I wasn't looking for nothing. I was just focused on this is what I'm here for. I moved here for music. I'm going to write my fucking ass off.
Yeah.
And then came 40 tracks, I think, straight worth of material that I came down to Denver with. That's not even counting shit that I scratched before. I come down to Denver and I got Long Days, Cold Nights, which dropped last year. And then I got Troy Ave, which dropped this year. And then Deuce is Wild 2.
Yep.
And while I was there, I even hooked up with another artist. Shout out to the homie Teray, you know. And we got maybe something in the cut, you know what I'm saying, as well, too.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are now on the cusp of beginning this next Deuces Wild, which will be our third Deuces Wild. We done two full-length projects together, just you and me going back and forth, man, on some Outcast type shit.
I mean,
man.
bro,
like,
it speaks to our chemistry, man. Like, you know, I think whenever we met each other, bro, and it was just automatic, bro. It was like, damn, okay, like I said, you know, I've been around people when you're rapping, bro, and especially when you're rapping like in cruises, you meet a lot of people. It's like, you know, oh, I rap, I do this and that, I do this. Okay, then let's do it. Let's jump in the booth and let's do it, you know. And you were the first one that took that shit and ran with it. And you mentioned it last night, Planet Music. When I first heard that song, bro, it was like, yo, I'm not dealing with no regular motherfucker here. Like, this isn't somebody who's just like, oh, I rap. No. Like, you can do this shit, you know? And when I heard it clicked, bro. That's when it clicked for me. I was like, you know what, man? Like, this is what I've been searching for. You know, coming off of my last situation, I was in a group in high school and shit. And when you're growing up with dudes, especially their brothers, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna run into that hurdle. You know what I'm saying? But once you run into somebody who's just as motivated and just as talented as you, bro, it flicked a switch for me. Like, that was when I was like, all right, bro, like this, we need to do something with this. And not just me and you, but 5D in general, bro. So when I told Zach, like, you know what I mean, you need to work on the album, like, that's when fucking everything just put into motion, bro, and it was like a motor. Like, everybody came together like fucking Voltron, bro.
And that was the creation right there. That was 5D. That was the birth of 5D right there, man. You know what I'm saying? And what is Fifth Dimension and what we trying to do with this shit. And
yeah, man. Yeah, you know, we might be just independents doing this shit on the underground and shit, but I'm very, very proud of what we've established and what we're still striving for, man. We're just striving for greatness, getting better with every project, bro. And well, we kind of got sidetracked. So take me a little bit more in the Troy Ave.
I was just thinking
bro.
that, Troy Ave.
So Troy Ave, but we had to put it in the context, right?
Yeah.
Because
So
you came to
again,
Denver.
I get long-winded.
No, and that's okay because that's what we're here for, dog. You come to Denver with 40 tracks ready to record. Right. And you got. And you at the time, you're thinking this is just gonna be one album and Deuces Wild. Like, that was the plan at the time, right? True. So what was the process in not just recording, but listening? How did you decide what was gonna be Long Days, Cold Nights and what was gonna be Troy Ave?
That's a good question, man. For those that have listened, you know, it's kind of one of those, if you know, you know, right? For those that have not listened, Long Days, Cold Nights is that real kind of greasy talking, you know, mob influenced, you know, we both love mob flicks, man. I was here. I moved in October. I went through that first New York winter off the rip, man. And, you know, it was a different time. I had to move with a different energy, man. And I was always watching my six because I got nobody that I know nor trust. I'm walking with the Nina on the fucking subway, bro. You know what I'm saying? On God, you know this, you know. And in the beginning, not no more. I'm be foolish and shit, you know. But it's like, you know, but in the beginning, it was just I had to take those type of precautions because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, bro. I came up for a week and here I go getting sidetracked. We'll talk about that later. Fucking Troy.
No, but it's part of it. It's context, bro. It puts context to what the music is, dog. Because the music reflects it, bro. Like, you went in and specifically, I could say what I feel the difference is between Long Days and Cold Nights is what you just said, like very mob, very spit,
Yes.
like very MC centered shit.
Yeah.
Whereas Troy Ave is very focused. You got stories, you got diverse topics. It's
Right.
very
It's a little bit more of
condensed.
that again, kind of like I'm trying to develop my artistic skills.
Yes.
You know, Long Days, Cold Nights is more, yeah, let me talk my shit. Let me get in some asses and shit, and that's it, you know. And then this one is, of course, a little bit more, let me give you conceptual, you know, songs and tracks and you know, have an established intro track, right? Because I just wanted to do that, you know. And then, you know, dipping in my bags a little bit, dipping in my braggadocious on make money type shit. I wanted to tell a story. That's been something that's very important to me. So that's where Eye for an Eye comes into play,
Right.
you know. I did a track for, you know, the girl that I love, you know, the woman that I love, I should say, you know what I'm saying? And I wrote that song even at that, in a time, I wrote that song in a time when we weren't even together.
Right.
But at that point, I knew, I was like, man, if they're,
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? If there ever was a one, she was the one, you know, and I wrote that shit, you know what I'm saying? Thinking it was, you know, and you know, fortunately, obviously things ended up working out. But that, you know, that type of song, I did my first kind of love song, if you will, you know?
Right.
I had never done anything like that. And then I kind of established a little bit of a melody as well, too, you know?
Oh yeah,
The
you did a harmony on the chorus.
So
That's just nice.
Trying to experiment, you know what I'm saying? I had even like a little playful bullshit track at the end, you know? It was just,
fun,
there was a
bro.
wide variety, man. It was
Yeah.
like the sample serve is very short and concise. It's like 19 minutes, 6-track EP, you know, have a little taste, boom, 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 and then that's it, you know?
Absolutely.
So, and Long Days, Cold Nights was a little bit more in depth. It was a little bit, you know, the whole project had a certain vibe, tone, and feel and kind of overall idea that was getting across.
Yeah.
You know, Troy Ave was not. There was no real idea outside of like, wow, this guy can kind of do a little bit of everything. These are sounding pretty good. It showcases, you know, just a little taste.
Yeah.
There's something to hold the people. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that. So you mentioned a little bit about you feel like you've realized like the artistic part of making music, specifically rap music. So like expound on that a little bit more. Like what do you feel like you have realized or figured out since then?
Man, artistically, it's, you know, for many years I approached rap with, I gotta be just vicious and be aggressive, and I gotta try to take people's heads off with this shit, because that's the type of rap that I really was into at that time. That's who I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And I was just striving to emulate that as much as possible. And I felt like I had to play catch up. And when you're playing catch up, you have this kind of insecurity as well as a rapper, low key, in your bars. It might, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of hear that, like, you know, like, okay, like he's trying a little too hard, or, you know, whatever.
What do you mean by playing catch up?
Playing catch up because I always felt like I was so late to the game, right? Like I felt like I was so late coming in and doing music. I met you was already a seasoned vet in my eyes. Now, granted, you know, it's like, what is a seasoned vet, right? You got artists that are well into their 40s and 50s now that are fucking making music still. And so like, at what point do you call them a seasoned vet? Who knows? Because they keep progressing. As long as you're showcasing progression, shit. You know, that's a different conversation though. But I was just yearning to be such a good rapper. I felt like I just had to go as crazy as I possibly could, stuff the most rhymes in there, and just say the most aggressive things and explicit things sometimes, you know, overly explicit in some cases, and you know,
Yeah, I know.
just to try to kind of overcompensate, you know, just
feel
do
you.
it too much. I just did it up too much,
feel
man,
you.
to be frank. And you know, as you mature as an artist, you kind of understand when less is more and when to save those type of moments for certain tracks and certain moments on certain tracks and dial it back, and you develop, right? And then there came a time where it's like, you know, more recently, I love to make stories. I love to tell stories. I love to you know, write shit that is like, it's just deep. It's just deep in a certain type of way. Like even when I'm still getting into that
Rapper bag.
yeah, that rapper bag, I still want to have some shit that's like, fuck, like nobody said it like that before, or he just said it with like a whole, like, I don't know, just different type of delivery and you know, I don't know, but you know,
Well, that's the beauty of rap to me, bro. Is like, you know, it's just been around since, you know, late 70s, and we're still finding new ways to innovate this shit.
Right.
You know, and because I think at the end of the day, like language it's unlimited. You know what I'm saying? Like we're always gonna find new ways to say shit. And I think that's I kind of hear that I think I kind of hear that that's what you're saying. You know what I mean? You're finding new ways to say things, but also say deeper things and like address deeper things and tell very like varied stories and just different, you know, because I've been thinking about all this, man, and you know, we talk a lot about movies and TV shows and things that we appreciate like that, and the things that I appreciate in those type of things are the writing, right? When the writing can take you for a mental ride, and when the writing doesn't insult your fucking your intelligence, right? That to me is the best writing.
Yeah.
So when you go into something and you're kind of like expecting your listener to be as intelligent as you think they are, you kind of get a different type of listener, I think. You know, and when you're writing the type of stories that we are writing, things can be like misconstrued, especially when you don't have context to certain
100%.
things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like not everybody will get it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a certain fan is going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been talking so heavy about The Sopranos and how the many saints and shit like that, and just like just the way that the things are written and told and presented, they're done in a different way, and they don't insult your intelligence. You know what I'm saying? They make you kind of like work around it and find it. And I feel like that's the kind of music that we make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, man. It's great. It's great to see your progression. It's great to see all of our progression, bro. And you know, like you said, you alluded that I was a seasoned vet when you met me, but I just had a few years under my belt, bro. And I've had this motivation to like create since I was a teenager, since I was younger than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I had a chance to do that as a teenager, I just fucking did it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a different time, bro. And seeing everything now, like that was 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a teenager in high school putting out mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm here as an adult, just kind of like figuring it out, bro. I'm just put out my second R&B album. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I was gonna put out 2 R&B albums, bro, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I think with that being said, because I've been going so hard with the R&B shit, I'm ready to rap again, bro. Like, I'm ready to just get back into that bag of just spitting, bro. You know what I'm saying? And with Deuces Wild 3, well, what I want to do, I want to talk about what's next for both of us, right? And obviously, we've already alluded to Deuces Wild 3, and anybody who knows us knows that we're always working on shit, so it's like, you know, that's kind of a given that we're always going to do Deuces Wild.
Yeah, of course.
So going into Deuces Wild, though, I feel like, you know, we've established a style, right? We've established like a very bar-heavy, braggadocious mob style kind of like with the first two, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the way that I see that is like we're always going to keep a bit of us, always. It's always going to be us, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I just want to push some more boundaries, bro. I want to push some more envelopes of what we can do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And as you alluded to with the storytelling, you know, and we got a little bit into it, you know, for the people who know and have listened, you know, we were talking about earlier, the track Fast Money from Deuces Wild 2. It's a very special track to both of us and a very special track to the 5D catalog because, in particular, what we did there, and I have to commend you for it because the song was your idea. This was your thing that you brought to me and was like, yo, I need you on this, right? You put together, like I was alluding to with The Sopranos and the writing and shit, you put together a piece of writing that told a story in a very different way. You know what I'm saying? You addressed it with 2 different stories, 8 bars, you know, or 16 bars split into 2 different stories, 8 bars each. You know, I mean, you got the inside rhymes and the outside rhymes, and you switch it up half. Like, dude, so tell me, first of all, tell me how you came up with the idea to do that. And second of all, tell me how you think we could do that going forward to Deuces Wild 3.
Fuck, dude. And I love this track. We was just talking about it before we even got into the city, man.
Absolutely.
This track was tough, man. I've never, ever taken as long in my entire time as a writer to write this verse as you know, any other verse. I took so long, man. I wish I had my, you know, if I had my little black book around, man, I'd pull it out and it's, you know, I have at least a full page and like a quarter of just filled with words that I was trying to find to fit in. Because what I'll do is I'll do rap columns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes there's very few times for me is there, you know, like, okay, it just flows. You know, most of the time I have to like, it's like, I figure out the cadence, the rhythm, the flow, however you want to, you know what I'm saying, the rhyme, and I just kind of fill in the holes, right? Like it's like, okay, I want to rhyme here, so I got to find a rhyme here, and I got to find a rhyme here, and I got to find a rhyme here, and it's like I'll fill in the rest, but I got to find what words I want to try to rhyme, and then kind of, and so, and
That's
that's
interesting.
That's how that process, and so as I'm doing filling in the holes, it's like, okay, let me figure out, I just start writing out over here on this column.
See, I didn't even know you'd be doing this shit.
These are rhymes when I'm writing that way, and I do it the same thing if I'm tapping it out whenever I'm on the notes
phone,
and shit like that. But when I do that, I just tab down a little bit, and then I type in a couple things there, and then those ones I can delete just to make it cleaner.
Move it back up.
Right. So when I'm done with the track or done with the whatever that rhyme, I don't need that rhyme no more. Sometimes I'll. But
it's interesting, bro. It's interesting you say that, particularly because I kind of do the same but differently, right? So the way I write is I'll take the page and I'll put 16 dots on the page, and usually the first thing I do is I come up with the last bar first.
Yeah.
So I come up with how I want to end
Right.
first, and then I could lead up to where
that's
I get
like
to.
that Rakim shit,
Right.
boy. I love that, man.
I mean, bro, when he said that on the documentary, bro, I was like, I do that. Like, what the fuck? You know? And Ice-T was like, I don't believe you. You know what I mean? I was like, I do that shit too. Anyways, but sometimes since I put the dots there, the bar's accounted for, right? Like this is the 15th bar, right? So sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'll come up with a bar, and I'll be like, okay, maybe they're not for the first, but maybe I should put this on the fourth, and then I could lead up. So I kind of do the same thing, but just not in columns and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's interesting that you say that, dog, because I didn't know that you.
See, and I don't even count the bars until after the fact, man. Like, Gator was tripping, bro. He was tripping. He took a look at my rhyme book, and it's like, I write my rhymes literally as if I was writing a essay or a story, or you know what I'm saying, like a fucking paper I had to turn in or some shit,
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck, and then after the fact, I'm like, how many bars I got, and I just sit there and I count them, as I'm rhyming it,
That's crazy.
And
it's crazy how our processes are so different, but we come together.
Yeah.
Like just like that. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? It's dope, man. So, I guess we could kind of get back to like how do you think we could do that on Deuces Wild 3?
I mean, we got a track that we had at least discussed. I sent you an idea.
Yeah.
And it's within that same vein. It was something that I re-listened to Deuces Wild 2, which I do on the regular, both Deuces Wild, but particularly 2, man. Yeah, and I was just like, I love this song, and the more I listened to it, I love it, and I was like, we need to do another one like this, where we each tell a similar story about the same sort of thing, but just in different ways. We told the same... we told everybody's kind of shit to fucking get a bargain, cut a deal, to whatever, you know what I'm saying, in 4 different stories in 2 verses. You got 8 bars to do, 1 story, 8 bars to do the second story. Second verse comes in, 8 bars. We told 4.
Yeah, see, I like shit like that. You know what I mean? Because I like to be challenged as a writer. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up in school, bro, like, reading and writing was always my shit. Like, I was just... And even... I didn't even realize it, bro, because there was a long time where I was just kind of like, I don't like doing that shit, nah.
Sure.
But the grades always showed that was my shit, dog.
Right.
So... I like being challenged like that as a writer, bro, because it puts me into a different bag, puts me into a different creative process of how to, and it puts me into that like writer of like movies and TV. Sure. So I start thinking of all the shit that I've seen and how people tell stories, bro. And that's kind of just, I just want to do that.
We're both capable of doing stories. So
in
terms of answering, I guess, your question that you had said, and how do we do this moving forward, we just got to do it. I mean, it's just finding the idea. Right now, I got an idea that I'm playing with, that again, I've sent to you. It's an idea, and if that ain't the one, then we'll scratch it. And we are both capable of being storyteller, writers, and concept-based rhymers and everything. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of finding which beat speaks to us, and then writing off of that and telling whatever story it is that you want to tell. And depending on the complexity of the song, you could try to match, or if it's something that's a little bit more loose and free, Fast Money was very structured. Yeah. It was a very structured, established rhyme scheme from beginning to end. Yeah. Literally, minus the hook, of course. And so we could choose to be that structured, which is great. It's an awesome challenge. You got to rise to the occasion and take the time to write that shit out, or you could do something that, again, is a little bit more free and loose in terms of the structure of the flow, but still have something that has a very, very deep impact in me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree 100% with what you said, man. I think from my perspective, man, like you alluded to earlier, you mentioned Outkast, and as we talked about earlier, I've been kind of doing a little more deep dive into their music, and this, like what I mentioned earlier, this is music that I've lived with my entire life. So you at different times in your life, you have different context with this music. And so as I'm listening to it now, kind of as an artist who's trying to push boundaries and shit, I'm really listening to the content, right? And how every song is a story. Bro. Like even the Feel Good, Have Fun, Miss Jackson, whatever is So Fresh, So Clean, they're telling stories, bro. And it was something that barely hit me, like just barely last week. It's like he's telling and you have the obvious ones like the art of storytelling and things like that, but it's like Miss Jackson, bro, like that's a fucking story, So that's kind of, I want to tap into that in our own way.
And it's a radio hit, and it's all these other things.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, it is, yes.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of like our way in,
Yeah.
I see it as like the way an actor approaches a role. If they're handed like they get a gangster role or something, they're gonna go look at some gangster stuff and see what is their way in.
Right.
And I think that's our way in right there. So looking forward to that, man. What do you think in the future holds for you as a solo artist?
I really just want to be, and we had this conversation again, I just want to be remembered, man, really for, and not for nothing corny or cheesy or gimmicky, man. I truly for the purity and the content of my rhymes and in the skill that hopefully at that point I possess as a lyricist, which I take a lot of pride in, as a storyteller, which I take a lot of pride in. And I think that's a huge avenue. I think that's a really, an area in hip hop, that gap that's not being filled right now at this point, Absolutely. Or at least appropriately, the way it could and should be, And so I would like to, tap into that. I think I could, potentially make some noise in that. And if I don't, whatever, I do it again because I love it. At the end of the day, we talked about that. I'll do this shit to the day that I die, simply because I love it, and simply because I love to make music that I enjoy listening to. Every time I put my shit on, which I don't do it a whole lot. I'm not one of those type of cats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But once in a blue moon, I'll be like, let me hear some of my shit, and I listen to it, and I'll be like, it'll put a smile on my face, And I'm just like, man, this shit is cool, man. Same. Like, if nothing else, if I ever have children, that day come, I literally got something now at that point that when I'm gone, they can hear my voice and they can at least get like a glimpse into like, this is Pops, man,
Absolutely.
So it's neat, bro, and I'll continue to do it and put it out, and I'll still pay to put it out on all these fucking platforms just to have it accessible.
Just keep it there, man.
And anybody can teach anybody. So if there's one thing that I do, bro, that maybe somebody stumbles upon or happens to hear, and it helps them cope or helps them get through or helps them get motivated and make them believe in themselves a little bit more, then fuck yes, who am I to, inhibit that, bro? We all have the potential to fucking make waves. You don't have to be this household name to make waves. Yeah. You could change one person's mind that change, and the chain go that, you know what I'm saying? Like they change another, and you never know, man. You could give somebody the fucking idea to cure cancer or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you never know. Yeah, just because they heard some shit and they bought into it and they was like, yo, I can do this or whatever. Absolutely. It gives how passionate I get. You know what I'm saying? Like so I don't take this shit for granted, man. I just want to be remembered, and I would love to have one like classic album, man. Like truly like regarded amongst, all time.
I feel that.
If I could get that, bro, that's really all that I would ever. Anything more than that is like too good to be true.
I feel that.
And even that would be too good to be true, but like way beyond. You know what I'm saying? Way beyond. I just really want to like just, man, I'm remembered as somebody that was a legend in terms of what I did for hip hop culture, man, for hip hop, for rap.
Yeah, man. I think if you're doing this and you don't want that, there's something wrong, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And hey, people get into this for different reasons. People just want to get paid. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? But when you're trying to contribute to this culture and be a, like you said, somebody who's remembered and somebody who people revere as one of them ones. We were having this conversation earlier, bro. I feel the same. I want to be in that conversation, And even though I don't care for all the shit that comes with it, you know what I'm saying? Because you know me, bro. I'm a very introverted type of person. Like, I don't really care to be talking and being on the scene and fucking meeting people and shit. I don't care about none of that shit, right, bro. But if I want to be in that conversation, I might got to do that shit.
And to give context to that, the conversation we was having was we started talking about the verse from 3 Stacks on Ye's shit, and which I have not heard yet. I still have not. People fucking are amazed when I say that. I haven't. I want to listen to it when it's like I can just run it back like 15 fucking times, and I got everything, and then I want to just like get up and be like, fuck, man, fuck.
And this is the thing, bro. What I just feel like he tapped into such a simple place to take the listener, but like it's something that people don't do.
Yeah.
Bro. Like he took a really simple approach. Like it's just a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it's very personal. He's talking about stuff that he grew up and like, you know, growing up and having sex for the first time, things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's touching on very like sentimental, basic life shit.
Yeah.
But it's in the form of this verse, and he's talking to like Kanye's mom, and it's like it's just a conversation.
Conversation, yeah. That's
And
what I've heard.
and I was just like who? Why isn't anybody doing this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to do.
But it's a story in and of itself, because it's like it's a story about a conversation. It just happens to be a real. It's almost like he really wrote down the conversation that he has with himself every single fucking day, probably in his own way. You know what I'm saying? And Ye will forever. Anybody that when you have deep loss like that every day, you have those fucking. You know, when you have loss, it's just the way it is, man. You have those sort of like, I wish I could talk to you right the fuck now, and you silently kind of exchange whatever it is. You know?
Yeah, man. I think it's deep. And like I said, I don't mean to say, when I said it's easy to do, I don't mean like it's easy to fucking do. I mean, it's an easy thing to talk about. Like, because everybody goes through these things.
Man, yeah.
Growing up and doing first experiences, that's something anybody can relate to. So that's what I mean when I say easy.
Yeah.
Because what he did is not easy. You know what I mean?
Course.
But I just, yeah, man, that shit. And it sucks that it happened the way that it happened. You know what I mean? This whole petty Kanye Drake dumb shit. Like, it was just whack the way that it happened, and then the way that Andre had to respond. You know, went to the notes message, and then it's just crazy. It's just a mess, bro. And I hate that shit overshadowed how beautiful.
That's the thing, bro.
What that verse was, bro. So that's kind of just it sparked the whole.
There was more buzz about the fact that Drake dropped it than about the fucking how fucking wonderful that verse was and what it was. You know. And impactful and significant, yeah.
It was a travesty. It was a fucking travesty.
That's the day and age we live in, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the bullshit or a lot of the negative will overshadow the positive, and you know.
Unfortunately,
that's what we're kind of more.
That's what we're working against. Bro.
Yeah,
you know
truly.
what I'm saying. So it is what it is. Bro.
Truly,
it is what it is. Well, I guess on the heels of that conversation, bro. What is some of your favorite music that you've heard this year? New music, old music, some, you know what I mean? What have you been bumping?
Bro, we was talking about, yeah, man. Shit. Bro, I've been bumping this Do or Die too. We was talking about that today, man. That shit, I love, man. That's crazy, I love that shit, man. I love the fact that it's authentic, it's true to form, it doesn't upset. Anytime that dude blesses the mic, it's fucking magic, you know what I'm saying?
He doesn't stray from who he is.
100%.
You know, he still keeps it legendary, bro. I mean, like I was saying, bro, I don't think I've ever heard a whack verse from AZ.
Nah, bro.
So that's not really, when you go into an AZ project, you're not questioning how dope he's gonna be rapping, you know what I'm saying? You're questioning everything around it, you know what I'm saying? I think he surrounded himself with what was dope to surround himself with, you know what I mean? My favorite track off that shit is the Alchemist joint with Conway and fucking Wayne, bro. Like, Wayne went stupid on that shit, bro. But that shit is dope, man. So what else have you been bumping?
Man, to be honest, man, take a little bit older, man. That Jericho Jackson project, man. Yeah, man. Yup, you know, bro. That shit. Every time I hear that, if we're talking about a project that is a form of like it's just art, like on one giant tapestry. That project from the intro, you know, that sets it up. I think it's Alan Watts that was the vocal. Maybe it might not be him. That's And then it goes into overthinking, and that's like, again, something extremely relatable.
Right.
Extremely relatable. Right. You know, but it's just a crazy concept that's like, I haven't ever heard this concept be written about in this way. Yeah. You know, you know, and that whole project is you know. Dope. You know me, I'm a 100% sucker for anything that's got that sort of boom bap sound. You know, and I don't use boom bap loosely. I feel like now it's thrown around a little too loosely. You know what I'm saying? They call this new kind of hip hop. You know, it's like it's not trap, so that automatically makes it boom bap. It's not boom bap is very distinct to, you know.
If it doesn't have drums, it's not boom bap.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
it's literally onomatopoeia for the fucking drums. You know what I mean? But whatever, that's a whole nother conversation. Because I love that shit too, bro. I love the drumless loops, Griselda, rock. I love that shit. Yeah, you know me, bro. But I just feel like we got to put it in a proper You know,
It's its own. It's
Yeah,
a, you know,
it's
it's
its
you
own
know, I
thing.
wouldn't necessarily throw it on the boom bap, but
doubt.
regardless, yeah, that Jericho Jackson joint, man, and that's how that Do or Die is too, man. It's like these old sounding beats over vicious flows,
Yeah.
you know, crazy stories as well.
The two
too.
MCs you
It's-
name,
it's-
AZ and Elzai, you know
For
what
me,
you're
it's
getting there.
perfection, bro. I can just listen to that type of music all day, and I'm cool, bro.
I
You
feel
know
that.
what I'm saying?
I feel that.
But let's see what else, man. Obviously, I mean, if we're talking more again into more modern shit, you know, this coral tape, I'm different. You know, I do so much that it's hard for me to listen to as much music as I would like to anymore. You know what I'm
feel
saying?
you.
It's so usually I'm either late getting to the party with something like this verse we just talked about. You know, or it's like maybe I listen to it once with like halfway attention, and then I got to revisit it down the road
It's
a
hard,
couple
bro.
times.
It's
and
hard to keep up, bro. And the only reason I've been keeping up is because of this show. You know what I mean? And trying to keep up, and because I enjoy this shit too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I really don't like when people just trash this generation of music. Like I get it, you know what I mean? This ain't what it used to be, but there's some
there's a
beautiful
bunch of
shit
amazing
out there,
shit
man.
out
Like,
there, bro.
If you
Incredible
really
shit.
go through and sift through all the bullshit, you'll find some gems out there, and that's really why I do this section of the show. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the shit started as just a radio show where I was
Right.
just playing music because that's just how I was. That's just what I was doing. But it just evolved into where I can actually have conversations about this shit and document this shit, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. And this year has been kind of crazy as far as releases go because there's been so much.
I think it's been a great year.
Oh, absolutely,
For hip hop
man.
and rap,
Absolutely.
bro. Like it's been a great year.
Yeah, I think so too, man. And I think that, of course, the pandemic kind of like forced everybody's hands. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody either tucked their music or released it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I think that's kind of what we're getting now. We're getting people kind of trying to recover from that shit too. But a lot of quality releases, man. A lot of quality releases. What would you say? Like, do you think you would give a definitive album of the year so far?
I'm biased, man, because I'm always gonna give the nod to anything that is, you know, more what I consider to be classic boom bap hip hop. You know, so with that being said, I mean, there's no reason why I wouldn't have put, you know, King's Disease 2. We talked about Euro Droog. His tape is, I mean, nobody that I've ever met even knows who this dude is. This dude definitely don't get his flowers, man.
super
Like
underrated.
Droog is phenomenal, man. And that whole project it's beautiful, bro. It's a beautiful offering, man. This AZ joint, like I said as well, too, Do or Die 2, I'm a sucker for, man. Cole's was incredible. Obviously, if we're talking numbers, record sales, and sounds,
I'm never talking.
Okay, I was gonna say then you obviously gotta put Certified Lover Boy in there, you know, and that's cool, you know. But if we just talking the purity of the artistry and the writing and what is being offered, the content of what is being offered, you know, then yeah, man, King's Disease 2 was. That would probably get mine.
I feel
this
that.
Nas running back to back. You know what I'm saying? Back to
Yeah,
back. Give it up
yeah.
to Nas, man.
No, I would agree, man. I think, you know, we had a little conversation earlier about new music, and for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to tiptoe that line of like what's popular and what people know about, and the super super underground shit that I love.
Yes.
So my top 5 is kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Rap wise, you know what I'm saying? I told you earlier, I alluded to that. I still think Tyler got album of the year, man. Like, and you know, I know you said you didn't listen to it yet, man.
I haven't
but
listened
it's
to it
just
yet.
fucking like, it's just thorough, bro.
Yeah.
Like every, and like I said, if you could give me,
Which he did, which we talked about.
if you
He
could
had
give
to
me
give
an
it.
hour, bro, and I'm entertained and engaged the whole hour, like that's true artistry to me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because attention is not easy to get. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I'm
not,
saying? So
especially to maintain. It's hard enough to get, let alone maintain,
Yes.
especially over an hour. In this day and age, everything is fast food, bro.
Yes.
Everything is you're in and out.
yeah, and for me, man, Tyler, he's fully realized how to structure these songs and how to make these productions. Like you know, we were talking about I put 2 bridges on in plain sight. He put 2 bridges on a song called Sweet. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and that he really put 2 bridges. Like I put 2 of like the
that's
same
wild.
bridge. He actually did 2 different.
bridges.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
wild.
it's like
That's wild.
his artistry is just like, but combined with the level of rapping that's on this project, I'm blown away. You know what I'm saying? 2, I would put King's Disease 2, man, just because Nas and Hit Boy have found that sweet spot, bro, that pocket. I really just want them to keep going.
They sounded
Just-
extremely
just keep
harmonious.
going.
Yeah,
please.
give us a third, 3-peat, man. Put the asterisk on it for real. It's
Number 3,
enjoyable to
I'm
listen
gonna go with Cole for number 3 because Cole.
Well, we leaving out La Máquina, bro. That shit was. I mean, we
Oh,
can't.
see, and that's the
I
thing.
forgot too because I was thinking that was last year. But while you was talking, I was thinking.
But that's the thing with Conway, bro. He drops so much. I forgot that dropped this year, fam. Like what that shit was crazy, dog. That shit was crazy. But honestly, I would probably still put Cole over that because the amount, again, with the same with Tyler, the level of rapping that Cole is doing on this album, bro, I haven't heard in a long time. Well, maybe outside of that feature run that he was doing,
Sure.
but on his own project, like I just feel like he
flamed that whole
I feel
shit,
like he
bro.
heard people talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the last couple releases have been a little underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Not bad, but just underwhelming for who he is.
I would agree.
For who like we hold him up on this fucking pedestal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think he heard people talking, bro, and that's you can hear it on that album. Just the aggressiveness and just he's talking his shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
He started hungry again, and it's
Absolutely.
hard for artists that, especially at that level, when you reach that level, it's like you really got to dig deep and force yourself to get back uncomfortable to feel that hunger again, because you get so comfy, you lose that drive, you lose that competitive, or not competitiveness, but you just the drive ain't the same.
You do, because he mentioned it on that little documentary that he put out when he was doing his rollout.
Yeah.
He had that little 15 documentary where he was just like, yo, like, I'm not hungry. Like, I feel like I'm not pushing myself. And he, like, you know,
he put himself in
did
it. He fucking went back to his old crib here, Muhammad
like, he
crib, you know, and
put himself in that old mentality and just kind of
made himself write a verse a day before he got up and got out.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I really do respect it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to do that shit. You know, he could make hits and just coast off his money and shit, you know, but he wanted to challenge himself, and I respect that shit, man.
I hope he maintains that and just snowball effect into the net. You know, he's got 2 or 3 more that at least he showed in that photo.
I hope so too, because he's talking about that this is the mixtape, and then you know that this is there's something bigger coming.
Off season still coming, and then he's got the It's a Boy, I think, or whatever, or what is it? I forgot.
I don't even know. I don't know.
He posted that pic. I don't know when this was now, but it had like a list of 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah, just. You know, names, titles, or whatever.
I hate when artists do that shit, bro, because they get us all excited for shit, and then the shit never come out. You know what I'm saying?
He said these more until I'm done. He never said nothing about a timetable. He just said after this I'm done, or after, you know, so like almost like he was, you know, announcing, you know, there is an upcoming retirement. Who knows how, you know, long or soon it's gonna be.
Interesting. Okay, I'm excited to see where that goes. And I think just for more of my favorite rap releases, man, you kind of mentioned Droog, and as we were mentioning earlier, the storytelling. Like, I think Droog is bringing a brand of storytelling that's very unique, man, and still very true to himself and true to New York. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. And then the project I sent you over the weekend, man, Wiki's new project, bro. This dude is just super unorthodox style, man. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody who sounds like him, honestly. Like, he just has such a super crazy style.
I agree with that.
And I just love what he's doing on his new project, man. He's more of the storytelling, more getting in introspective, more mature
content. Yeah,
it's beautiful, man. I love hearing that from the artists, man, because you can compare them from where they were fucking 5 years ago, and here now, and you could see it's either gone this way or this way. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is his best project, and I'm really, really, really stoked to see it, man. As far as anybody who tunes into the show knows that I'm heavy on the R&B, you know what I'm saying? I just put the R&B album out, so it would be remiss of me if I did not, you know, mention some of my favorite R&B projects from the year, man. So top of the year, you had Mac Ayers, Magic 8 Ball, man. This dude, I think he's from New York, and he just makes a real dope R&B, real smooth. I don't like the title Neo Soul because it's just kind of you know what I mean? That whole shit was just weird. But I think some people would kind of label it as like Neo Soul. This dude's pretty dope, man. I seen him live in Denver, put on a dope ass show. He produces all his shit, writes all his shit. He's really, really dope. Joyce Rice, this girl from San Diego, man. She's been on the grind for a long time, bro. I first heard her on a Dom Kennedy mixtape back in like 2012. Okay. And she was just doing backgrounds on there and shit. But like, over time, she's dropped singles, and then finally she dropped her album this year, and it's fucking incredible, man. I'm really, it's dope. It's just, I like to see the progression, bro.
Yeah.
I like to see when an artist starts off, the humble beginnings, and then where are you 10 years later? You know what I'm saying? And it's dope to see her progression, man. Very dope. Another one of my favorite R&B albums from the year. It's kind of, there's a lot of rap on it, but there's this band from the UK. They're called Children of Zeus, right?
Okay.
UK shit, and more of that like soulful. Like I said, I don't like neo soul, but I think people would like put it in that bag. But the thing that kind of threw me off when I first listened to it is there's a lot of UK rappers on it, right? And for me, like, it's always been really hard for me to just like get over the accents and just like sometimes it doesn't relate. You know what I'm saying?
It don't fit quite right. You know, I got you.
With this shit, bro, like the first listen, I was kind of like, all right, a couple more spins, bro, and I was like, okay, like these dudes are dope. You know what I'm saying? And there's different, like, I don't know if it's a band or a group or what, but there's like different people on every track, basically.
Okay.
And they're just, if you take away the raps, bro, it's not the same, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So when I heard that, I was
called Children of Zeus.
Children of Zeus. The album is called Balance.
Balance.
Yeah, it's really dope, man. I would recommend it to anybody who hasn't heard it, man.
Okay.
Children of Zeus. Let's see what else has dropped this year, man. That I've been jamming.
I couldn't help you with the R&B. I'm not. I was just watching. I don't listen to R&B, man.
I'm heavy with it, man. I'm heavy with it, but I like a very specific sound. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the people are doing a very like samey type of R&B sound nowadays. Sure. And some of it's good, some of it's dope, but it's like some of it to me is just a little overproduced. It's like, all right, there's no soul in the vocals. I want to hear some human, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of really the R&B shit that I gravitate towards, man. So I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Van Jess, bro. They put out their homegrown deluxe EP, right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just a little extra remixes and stuff like that.
Sure.
I would be remiss again if I did not mention Jameson's new album, bro. So Jameson is an artist.
You put me on it.
Jameson is
man.
a very special artist to us, bro. Like this dude makes a very.
We seen him live and he put on a hell of a show.
Yeah,
man.
So that was one of the first dope memories I had in Denver, man. We booked we got some tickets to fucking Jameson's concert 2018. He was touring for Velvet. And he just put on an incredible show, man. We were just like,
hey, bro, I was blown away, man.
There was no more than 100 people in the show, and we were just like, we were having such a great time, man. Yeah. It was a dope show and dope artist. So his new album, man, Heals Me. It's very, very minimal, you know, because you know Jameson's music, bro. He throws the synths in there. He's got like he does a very crazy production. Yeah. He's really toned it back on this one, bro. Like it's very minimal. There's little to no synths on the album. It's very guitar based, you know what I'm saying? He has a song on there, bro, where he's singing in Spanish, fam. It's like straight up, bro. I was like, where did this come from? But it's dope,
oh, man.
All
right.
And you know, Danger.
I ain't listened to it, so I have to get
our
it
boy Danger, bro, fucking loves Jameson, bro. So
yeah.
He's been jamming on that heavy, bro. And we got tickets to his concert in Denver in November, so that's just gonna be
Y'all enjoy that, man. Have a good time. That's tight.
Yeah, man. I think that's it, bro. I think we got a good episode in, bro. We've covered a lot of bases, man. We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, very special to be here. Thank you for accompanying me here. You're the reason I'm here, bro. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. So,
bro, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be you, bro. You showed me what was up. Like this is how you start penning a fucking verse together. This is how you fucking create a song. Like it was. I mean, I did it, but after just it was like you always already doing it, man. I wasn't doing it, listen, and I was just like, I want to do this. This is cool. I like this shit.
I can't take credit for all that, man, but.
We push each other. You always put the battery in my back, bro. Anytime we talk, man, it's a recharge, bro. Like you're one of the few people that I can really rely on in this day and age. One of the music aside, just who you are as a human being, who you are as my homie, my brother, man. It's like you are extremely consistent. You are extremely on top of shit, reliable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and those are qualities and traits that are rare to find in this day and age, bro. And so I appreciate that in and of itself. And then music-wise, man, I can bounce ideas off you. I can get your support from you, your fucking honest opinion from you. And shit like that, and we each push each other, throughout the year. Anytime we hear music from one another, it's like, it just we work so there's a good chemistry, bro. It's just phenomenal, man. I'm excited for Deuce's Wild 3, man. I can't thank you enough for this opportunity and you including me in this area of what you do.
It's no question, man. It's not a question, man. To me, it's like I said, like I was saying outside, man. To me, you're only as great as the people around you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make sure that I don't want to just do this for me. I want to do this for everybody, bro.
Sure.
And then, bro, if this shit works out, dog, and shit works out for us, bro, we could change our families' lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could change our friends' lives. People who never had opportunity in their life.
Of course, man.
You know, so to me, that's
I know,
what this
and-
whole shit is about, dog.
Bro, we trying to rep for the Southwest, man. Like, let's keep it a buck as well, too.
Nobody
there's
done this
really
shit.
not a whole lot of
Ain't nobody done
noise
this
of in anything coming out of where we from, bro. You know, that Las Cruces, New Mexico, El Paso, Texas.
People
you
don't even know who we
The
are,
border
bro.
town, you know, literally on the border of the fucking Juarez,
Yep.
Mexico. You know, it's like, you know, people don't know that shit, bro. You know, there's nothing coming. There's nothing, man. So we got to be the voice, man. We got to pave the way. We got to fucking open it up, man.
Yeah.
Open up the floodgates so that way because there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of beauty, wonderful culture down there, man.
Absolutely.
That needs to be, you know, a little bit more commonly known and exposed, you know, to this fucking world, man. You know,
It's a very rich culture, very rich heritage.
there's a lot that we can offer, man.
Yeah.
A lot that we can offer.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you for accompanying us, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, my brother.
Wolf, thank you, brother.
Thank
I
you, my
appreciate
man.
it, man. This is great, man. This is great.
Put me on to some music too.
No doubt,
for
man.
sure.
No
After
doubt.
this,
Got you.
yeah.
Got you, no doubt. All right, peace out, everybody. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace and blessings.
Take it easy.